Former Victorian Liberal Party President Michael Kroger went undercover at a pro-Palestinian rally in Sydney on Sunday. It's a protest that went ahead despite Trump already securing a peace deal, despite a ceasefire already in place. And Michael Kroger joins me now. Michael, what did you see that surprised you at the protest? And also, did anyone recognise you?
Fortunately, no. I was in Sydney on the weekend and I picked up the paper and saw that this demonstration was on just down the road from where I was staying, so I thought I'd go along and have a look. Sharri, it was pretty disgusting. Not one Australian flag, and I gather there hasn't been an Australian flag at any one of these hundreds of Palestinian demonstrations, which is alarming. I listened for about half an hour of the speeches. No condemnation of Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, or Iran. No condemnation at all. No praise for Trump or the Arab leaders, the Muslim leaders for the peace deal. No celebration that hostages are coming home, that even the Palestinians were going to be released. It was just a cesspit of hatred, I thought, against Israel. Signs calling Chris Minns complicit in genocide, expel the Israeli ambassador, F Israel. And then if you look closely at the first photo you put up there.
Let's pull that slide up again.
Have a look at have a look at this photo of queer solidarity with Palestinian resistance. We know why that's utterly absurd, but go back to that photograph, because if you notice on that photograph that the Queer Solidarity with Palestine have put together, there are 7 Hamas triangles on that flag.
The
on that sign.
inverted red triangle.
The inverted red, correct. Yeah. Now, you're not trying to tell me, look at that, okay, carefully hidden. They might say, oh, it was just decoration. Well, you know, if you're putting up 7 Hamas triangles, someone would say, hey, hang on, they're Hamas triangles, we can't put them, but they are deliberately there. Now, in Victoria, if you put up a terrorist symbol, that is now illegal. So I don't know whether that's illegal in New South Wales, but if you display Hamas signals, and there's 7 of them there, symbols, and there's 7 of them there, that's why I say that there are elements of this demonstration were just sort of hatred. I mean, it was just hatred. And then, of course, the chanting from the river to the sea. I mean, boy, you know, no Jewish person would feel safe anywhere near that demonstration. Quite frankly, it was disgusting.
Yeah.
And it was half an hour, 3/4 of an hour of my life I won't get back again.
No, well, you've done us a service at least to go undercover. Trust you weren't recognised, not too many Sky News viewers there, I guess.
No, hopefully not.
All right, I'm keen to get your thoughts on the clash between Jacinta Allan, Victorian Premier, and federal opposition leader Susan Lee today. Have a look at this.
Melbourne has gone from the most livable city to the crime capital of Australia.
That's just purely politics, right? We all remember when the previous leader of the opposition, when he was a minister, he came to town making some of the most outrageous claims about Melbourne and safety issues in Melbourne. So we're seeing from the current leader of the opposition that she's following this same anti-Victorian pattern of behaviour.
I mean, Michael, Susan Lee speaking about crime isn't politics when families are living in fear.
So Susan Lee was absolutely right. I'm very glad she came here and pointed this out. Look, there's a poll in the Herald Sun tonight, an article written by James Campbell, which points out Jacinta Allan will lose her own seat, and hopefully that is true. Victoria is not a safe place. It's certainly not a safe place for Jews, as we've discussed. It's not a safe place for anyone, quite frankly. There's a fellow arrested on Tuesday for carjacking and using a fake gun around the city, pointing at people. Well, he was out on bail for car theft, alleged car theft from 2 days before. That was Sunday, he allegedly stole a car, bailed, and then on Tuesday he carjacked 2 other cars. So Victoria is the crime capital. Susan Lee's absolutely right. Jacinta Allan has lost any control in Victoria. And if we see her say one more time, oh, we trust the Victorian police, etc., 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 no, Jacinta, on your watch, Victoria is an unsafe place. And if a Premier can't guarantee the safety of fellow Victorians, then she ought to resign and go.
Look, the Premier also ripped into the Australian's journalist Rachel Baxendale today when she dared to ask about the reports that children will be allowed to transition socially in schools, this is gender transition, without their parents' consent. Have a look at this.
Transgender kids are 15 times more likely to commit suicide. I would hope, Rachel, you're going to dispute the higher rates of suicide amongst transgender kids. Rachel, I'm not going to engage with you in a debate about the different levels of the rate of suicide amongst transgender kids. I am just not. That is just so deeply irresponsible, and because the data that I have says that transgender kids are.
Michael, shouldn't the Premier be transparent and answer proper questions rather than try and intimidate the journalist?
Sure. Well, this is a tactic Jacinta Allen uses. So she's asked specifically about schools not telling parents of kids that there's transitioning going on at the school. She turns into a debate about trans suicides, terrible though that is. That wasn't the issue being discussed. When she's asked about crime in the previous segment, she talks about Susan Lee coming from Victoria and being anti-Victorian. This is the way Allen behaves, right? You just, on a similar sort of topic, you vaguely, change the topic and go somewhere else, fill up the time and then go to another question. So that's what she does. What, parents are not being told by their schools that their kids are transitioning? I mean, really, Premier? I mean, I would have thought that 99% of parents would think that was a good idea for them to be told what's happening to their own kids out of their own line of sight. But this is what the Premier does. And if you thought Daniel Andrews wasn't much good, well, welcome to Jacinta Allen.
It's a change of government in Victoria is desperately needed, if only for the crime crisis. Okay, well, Michael Kroger, well done on going undercover, surviving the protest. I'm sure you'll never go back again, but thank you for sharing the photos with us.